Hello, and welcome back to another episode on the channel. Before we start today, I just want to say thank you guys for tuning in. Smash the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Sean, how are you, mate?
Yeah, not too shabby, son. Same old. Just settling in with this new job still.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, it's good. It gives me a lot more free time, as I've already said.
Be loving it, honestly.
Oh, of course, mate. Saves a lot more money, and as well, it's something I enjoy doing as well, which is nice. So, yeah, can't really complain too much. What about you? How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm hot, mate.
Yes,
It's hot. It's been hot.
It's a scorcher, man. It's been nice though.
Yeah, it has. It's nice when it comes. But yeah, other than that, man, I'm just contemplating my job. Honestly, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just in and out with this existence, my current existence. Your environment well, it doesn't help, but it basically creates your mental state.
Of course.
And this is something which I'm struggling with at the moment. But other than that, I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Today we're going to be talking about addiction.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, this is a tough topic.
It's very tough.
Addiction comes in many forms, man.
Yeah, 100%.
It's not just something like a drug addiction. It could be a type of food that you just love.
It could be a routine.
It could be
a routine. It could be something to do with your moods.
Yeah.
Literally, as Luke said, it can stem from anything, really.
Mm-hmm.
It's something we're going to delve more into over time. We will have a guest coming on at some point to talk about addiction and their experiences, and just kind of how that affected them. But I think, just as a whole subject, it's a good topic to cover, especially to do with sort of like mental health, especially to do with in like men's mental health as well, because we've got to remember that's what we're here for.
Yeah, 100%.
But
the
boys. But at the same time, I think everyone can take something away from this.
Yeah.
If you feel like you're addicted, even if you might not realize you're addicted to something, it's something that we're going to kind of explore today.
Yeah, I think we should start with, an emotional addiction. There's loads of people out there that I've come across. I've myself have been a part of this, where I was once upon a time addicted to toxic sort of environments. My own mental state was toxic. I hated everybody. I wanted to be better than everybody, and if I wasn't, I hated myself because of it. And also, I was attached to a relationship for a very long time, which was toxic, but it was comfortable, And I wouldn't say that's directly what you call the definition of addiction.
Yeah.
But letting go of those emotions was hard. I would always find myself going back to that.
Of course.
Which you could consider an addiction.
Yeah, of course.
So, you know what they say, like, misery wants company? And when I was in that state, I would find myself being negative. And if I wasn't negative, I didn't feel normal.
Yeah.
I was like addicted to being a negative.
Yeah.
And that was bad for me, man. But you know what happens when you are addicted? You lose a vice and you get another vice.
Of course, it's a substitute, essentially.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with like, if you smoke cigarettes and you start vaping, you're substituting that cigarette for something else that basically does the same thing, but you might see it as an alternative. So usually you just find an alternative to substitute out what you've been doing. Like me, I'm a culprit of, smoking cigarettes for 7-8 years and now vaping, I've just switched out one thing for another. And, it's not even like I enjoy vaping. I just do it for the habit because it's an addiction. I'm used to that habit of smoking something, kind of just having something to do. It keeps me occupied. There's days where I just find myself not actually enjoying vaping, to be fair. I just feel like it's too much, but I still do it because it's a habit. I'm addicted to that habit, I guess, not necessarily like the nicotine. But yeah, it comes in many, many different forms. Like you said, relationships, you get attached to that feeling, that emotion of like, I need this in my life. I need this to keep going. This is normal to me. That feeling of negativity, like I've said before, when I wake up for work, I wake up feeling mad, angry for no reason, but it's comfortable. I'm addicted to that comfortability because it feels normal. So it's hard to break that. It was very difficult for me to break that mindset of waking up in more of a positive mindset to actually take on the day and actually, you know, kind of get stuff done and be more productive. So super difficult. It is very difficult to break that cycle, because that's all it is. It is a cycle. An addiction is a cycle. You know, you start, you don't have that addiction, you try it, you have that addiction, and you try and break that addiction. It's just a cycle. You know, you can relapse, you can go back to it. Obviously, the main thing surrounding that would be drugs, of course. You know, kind of drug use, alcohol intake, that sort of stuff.
Everybody thinks addiction, that's the definition they go to.
As soon as you hear addiction, they're like drugs or substance or alcohol. No, it comes in so many different forms, and I just don't think people really understand that, to be fair.
I think when you're in the moment of these types of things, you don't realize you're addicted. One, because it's routine, as you mentioned, but also it becomes a part of your identity. And that's where you lose the benefits of it. You know, like, every once in a while, I think everybody should smoke a spliff, you know? Like, for some people, definitely not. If you've got psychosis or you are a bit on the skit side, well, you know, SkitzMen. But I think everybody should, you know, they should have a moment where they just smoke a spliff.
They just dabble in it.
Just you know, have your annual bong rip or whatever it is. Just take an opportunity to de-stress, is what I'm saying.
As long as you can control it and you have control over it, I think that's where the kind of line is drawn. You know, if you're consistently doing it every day, which is, listen, I've been there. You know, I've smoked weed every single day. You know, I've bought ounces, I've done this, I've done that, because I enjoyed doing it. It got to a point where it's like, I don't have the money for this, or I'm not enjoying it, so I stopped. And it was better. It was more of a benefit for me stopping, because it allowed me to keep myself grounded and actually figure out a lot about myself, instead of actually kind of relying on that to be somebody I'm not. And it's just fucking expensive, man.
It does get expensive, man.
It's crazy expensive. I just didn't have the money for it.
Myself, I literally was working a shit ton, and I spent so much money on, like, substance. Smoking so much weed. And, you know, I used to smoke and drink to have a good time and to be positive. But it got to a point where I was smoking as a release, drinking as a release, so I can relax. And it's good to do that every once in a while. But when it becomes your daily routine, you don't realize how hard it is to give up.
Of course.
It took me so long to give up smoking weed, bro. Like a full year, where I would go from smoking 2 ounces, you know, in the span of a month, maybe more, and I would reduce it to like half a spliff a day. That was when I was getting to my end. And I was like, you know what? I can actually just let go now. And within those times where I was like, nah, I'm not buying weed anymore. Do you know what I found? When I didn't have it, I wanted it. I craved it very bad. But when I had it, I was like, I don't want to split.
No, it's the withdrawals. It's the access. It's the accessibility to it. You have, if you have access to it and you can get it and you've got it there, it's like, I don't want it, but I'm going to smoke it because I have it. But then when you don't have it, it's like, I want it even more. And then that's when the withdrawals kick in, because you're like, I need it. I feel the need to have it. So that's what I mean. It's a constant cycle. It's like me. I smoked from like the age of 15 up until 18, and then stopped for 4 years. Because I was like, it fucked with my head. I was like, I can't keep, like, you know, just anxiety, all of that sort of stuff. And stopped for 4 years, and then was it 4 years? Yeah. Stopped till about 22. And when I was in uni, after first lockdown, I moved in with a couple of friends, and they were smoking in the flat. So I was like, cool, you know, second lockdown happened. I was like, let me just start smoking again. Started smoking again. Enjoyed it. It was a good time because I was with my friends. We were just playing games, getting high, just having a good time, watching anime, whatever we was doing. I was doing uni work, and then like lockdown lifted again, and obviously I'm moving out and about a bit more. So I just stopped. I stopped, and it's the same with drinking. Like, I stopped. I haven't had a drink in 9 years now. I haven't had a drink since I was like 18.
That's crazy.
And I don't plan to ever drink again. I just don't enjoy it. I don't enjoy that side of things. I can go out with people and have a good time that do drink. I have no issues with other people drinking, but I think people, especially now, people don't have that line where they draw that. They don't draw that line. They just kind of
self-control's gone.
Yeah, that's it. And it's like, I can be around drunk people, but my social battery runs out very quickly because I'm not drinking, because I'm not on that level. I can match the energy, but obviously it's different as a sober person.
It is.
But I can still have a good time. And it's just one of the things, like, I not grew up around it, but like more in like the recent years, and like even from when I was 16 to 18, it was always kind of around. So I just didn't really enjoy it. and I didn't really have much of a problem with drinking to make me have a, like create an addiction in a sense.
Yeah.
I didn't drink enough.
Yeah.
For me to have a problem, so to speak. So I was just like, it's one of them things where it's like some people stop because they drink too much.
Yeah.
I stopped because I didn't drink enough. Type thing. I didn't enjoy it.
Yeah. That's fair enough. You came across something from which just didn't fit your boat.
Yeah.
Just didn't help you sail.
Yeah.
And you're better off without it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's a lot of patterns that we all give ourselves where we are better off without them. Some can come in the form of a friend that is not your real friend, and then you don't realize that. We've all had people in our lives that we've cut off due to that. Like an example that I'll give is a friend of mine from a very, very long time. I didn't realize how much of a manipulator he was. And as soon as I cut that off, you feel a sense of freedom.
Yeah.
And it always is the case when it comes to these types of things. These vices, they're taking away your freedom. If you have the freedom to do things on your terms, you're in control. That's good. Like, for example, if there was, a shit ton of whatever I wanted right in front of me and I didn't take it or use it, I'm in control. But the second that I require it to function, the second that I require it to feel something, is when it's bad. And I think the vices that we hold in life very much dictate our mental state and the withdrawals that come with it. You don't even realize who you are at the time.
Yeah.
Withdrawals from social media.
Yeah.
Withdrawals from I don't know what to say, eating your favorite food.
Well, withdrawals from that routine that you have.
Yeah.
You condition yourself to, like, say you start waking up at 5:30 every morning and you're eating breakfast, going to the gym or whatever you're doing. You have that routine and then it becomes embedded into your lifestyle. Or say you have a bad routine, right? Say you have a routine of you waking up at 1 p.m. You're eating shit. You're eating at terrible times. You're not sleeping properly. You have this terrible routine, but you enjoy it because it feels good to you. That's an addiction in itself because you're addicted to that feeling of how you feel at that moment, right? You enjoy waking up at that time. You enjoy eating shit food. You enjoy not taking care of yourself, essentially. And it, as you said, it's the same thing with social media. It's an addiction. You catch yourself scrolling on your phone for 4 hours before you go to sleep. Not good, right? And it's just you don't realize you have a problem until you try to stop. That's when it really kicks in. You really don't know you have a problem until you try to stop. See, like with me, with the drinking, it was very easy. I just woke up one day, I was like, I'm not drinking. Easy as. When I was smoking, it was very easy. I just put it down. I was like, I don't even want to smoke anymore. But with like stuff like social media, which is more easily accessible, and a part of your daily life, is very hard to cut off. There
isn't much of a social taboo with social media. It's more of a social requirement nowadays. So there's kind of like a catch-22 with this, because how are you meant to contact your friends? How are you meant to see what your friends are up to? What's good in the news, what's going on in life, what's going on in the world. You're drawn to these things because of how accessible, easy it is to see things, view things. But there's always a downside to these.
Of course.
Things, man.
Of course. I mean, addiction's a very touchy subject, I feel. Because obviously, as soon as people hear, like we said, as soon as people hear addiction, they're like, substances or drink, right? But it's like we said, there's so many different options, or like, so many different addictions that you don't even realize are addictions until you try to stop.
What would you say your biggest addiction that you've had in your life, and what would you say is the smallest that you didn't even realize was?
Oh, that's a tough question, to be fair.
It is, actually.
I think the smallest one I didn't really realize I had was that's a good question.
Should I tell you what my biggest one was?
Yeah, go on.
My biggest one was women.
Okay.
But not because of how addicted I was to women.
But
because of how long it stuck with me. My mentality. Basically, the original sin, lust. That was my biggest crux. And that leads into loads of bad stuff, like addiction to pornography. Addiction to a certain outcome with girls. It's basically like a rolling ball of destruction.
I feel like for men that's most though. I feel like most men that is probably their biggest.
It comes across with like ego and bravado, and you want to impress, you want to be able
pride.
to look like the best guy out of all of these guys because you have so many girls.
100%, especially at a younger age.
Yeah.
Especially at a younger age, especially when we were younger, it was always like, guys, I'm chatting to this girl, guys, I'm chatting to that girl, exactly. Or like, guys, I'm chatting to this many girls, you know?
Yeah.
I think it was definitely a part of that. So to be fair, I think I'd have to agree with you on that one, and also say similar. But the smallest one that I didn't realize had as much of an effect. Oh man, do you know what? It's gonna be cliche, but I'm gonna have to say like social media, man.
Fair enough.
Because it's like, I always have this thing where it's like, if I'm able to stop drinking and smoking as easy as I did, I've got self-control.
True.
Right?
You do.
But then I do find myself scrolling way longer than I should do. And I try to stop and kind of calm it down, but it's just, you know...
It's like a natural occurrence.
Exactly. Any given moment I've got some time, I'll have a little scroll. Then don't get me wrong, I'm not a chronic scroller.
Yeah.
You know, like, I do have a life.
Yeah.
But there are times where I'm like, I could be using my time differently.
Yeah.
You know, like if I'm at home and I'm editing, it's like, if I'm waiting for something to export, I don't need to be scrolling.
Yeah, true.
I could be doing something else.
Yeah, you could be doing something to benefit yourself.
Exactly, but I don't do that. So I feel like that's definitely the smallest one I didn't realize until it started happening a lot more.
Okay.
What would you say your smallest one is?
You know what? That's hard as well. It's such a hard question, the smallest one. You know what the big problem is.
Of course.
Noticing the small one is really tough. I'm unsure. You know what? I can't think of one at the moment. Maybe it's something that I haven't noticed.
True.
You know, maybe
that's true.
Still something I haven't noticed. But if it comes to me, it comes to me. But yeah, I mean, out of all of these things, you know, of course, you have a vice and you change the vice with a good vice, but not all vices are bad.
Of course.
All addictions are bad. Like, if you're addicted to your family, I think that's good to a certain
extent. Yeah.
You know, you love your family, you would do anything for them, you show a certain passion towards that. What is a substitute that you think would be good for anyone listening? Like, let's focus on the young demographic here. So between 15 and 25, you know, where you're still in that vital development phase, but you're also becoming a mature adult, and you're discovering yourself and also reflecting and hopefully having some self-reflecting your problems. What would be a good change, you know, a positive vice that could change for, I don't know, substance abuse, I guess? Well, it's kind of the generic term, but maybe screen time. Let's talk about screen time.
Yeah.
What would be a good substitute for that?
Reading a book.
Yeah.
I think that's that's like
same thing.
That's like the go-to meditation. Going out for a walk, leaving your phone at home when you're not really needing it. You know, we lived in a time where we didn't need to have phones, so we've become so reliant on having them. You don't need to have it at your beck and call 24/7. If you're going down the shop, you don't need your phone. Oh, but it's got my card on it. You have a physical card.
Yeah, true.
Just take the physical card with you. Yeah. You know, it's not that deep.
Yeah, that's literally my partner. She does not have a digital card. She carries her card everywhere, and she puts her phone in her bag all the time.
See, I respect that.
She just doesn't use it. She just uses her physical card. She wants to be in the physical realm. And I thought of it, by the way. I got it. You ready?
Go on.
My smallest addiction that I've come across is being alone in my thoughts. I'm so addicted to being in my thoughts because that's the one person that's going to tell me exactly what I want to hear. It's the one thing that's going to say, "Oh yeah, that is right. That is what you should do. Yeah, no, you did the right thing. No, you did this. No, you did that."
But that's feeding your ego.
Exactly. So maybe my smallest addiction was my ego.
100%.
Is my ego.
I feel like you've just cracked the code.
Yeah, maybe.
You know, because you're going to listen to yourself because you think you're right about yourself, because you know yourself the best.
Yeah.
Not always.
Yeah.
You do know yourself better than everybody, of course, but you also lie to yourself to make yourself feel better.
I was just about to say that. It comes in delusion, doesn't it?
Exactly.
You're not living in reality because your thoughts aren't, they're manifested.
Yes.
They're not real.
Yes.
So to speak, you can have a thought come into your mind and it generally means nothing and will have no effect on you, but you entertain it. So yeah, that is actually something which I'm still struggling with.
That's a good realization though, to be fair.
Yeah.
That's a very good realization. I think a lot of people can take that away, especially with the society we live in.
Yeah.
In terms of being by yourself and feel like you're alone and stuff like that. I struggle with that, of course, but I've learned how to deal with it. I've learned how to kind of control it a bit more. And that is simply by not allowing myself to be overruled by myself. Be around people that I want to be around. And even if I am by myself, don't let myself delve too deep into them problems that I'm dealing with internally. Because at the end of the day, it's like really and truly internally, I'm not dealing with much.
True.
I've learned to love myself again. I don't care what anybody says. Like we said before, I don't seek validation. I've learned to love myself again to a degree where it's like, I'm good. I know my self-worth. I value myself as a human, as a person, as an individual.
That's good, man. I think I need to start meditating. I was literally watching a video on this guy who gave it's this monk guy. This one monk guy.
Charlotte with the I know who you're on about.
He says some real shit.
He talks about like anxiety and stuff like that. Honestly, like his videos are fucking 10 out of 10.
Yeah, every time they're 10 out of 10. But he said something about meditation. He was basically like, what meditation is to learn the art of controlling your thoughts. A thought comes in, but did you manifest that thought? Is it even there?
Yeah.
So when you feel this thought, it will pass and another thought will generate. The skill of meditation isn't about finding inner peace with whatever you feel inside. It's about controlling the thoughts. So he said, when you first meditate, you're going to have loads of thoughts flooding and they're going to interrupt your meditation. Every single time you do meditate, you're going to see those thoughts be reduced. And until you get to the point where you don't have any thoughts during meditation, he said, you'll snap and think, oh my God, I'm not having any thoughts. But then that's a thought. So
the whole point is to clear your mind.
It is, yeah.
The whole point is to clear it's like clearing your cache on your PC.
Yeah. And I think I need to learn that skill to a T. I think my concept of meditation was very airy-fairy, within.
I think everybody sees it like that, though.
I agree.
Nobody understands the real, like, deep thought of meditation and what you can benefit from it.
Yeah.
You're not seeking inner peace. You're finding a way to control your thoughts so that you don't frequently lose yourself within yourself. So you can handle yourself a fair bit better than what you did before. And that is called growth.
Yeah.
As plain and simple, that's evolution. You're evolving, you're growing as an individual. You're bettering yourself.
Yeah.
You're always going to have thoughts. That's never going to change.
True.
That will never change. You're a human being. Your mind is going 100 times every day, it non-stop. It's always processing. But for you to be able to slow that process down for a short period of time so that you can actually gain that clarity, it's a good way to go. So I would say 100%, if you're going to look for a substitute, then meditation, reading books, just kind of being at one with something other than, your mind.
Yeah, the distraction of the mind, I think, is what causes a lot of addiction.
Yeah.
Where you can have the realest conversations with yourself, but also you can have the most delusional conversations with yourself.
Yeah, 100%.
And I feel like learning to control that impulse, your emotional impulse, two, the thoughts that come over you, that take over you, that impulse, those will really lead to a reduction of all addictions.
Yeah.
Because if I think I need something, then my thought's taking over.
Yeah.
If I think I need to smoke, then I will go to smoke.
Yeah.
My thought is actually taken over. And if I'm emotionally inclined to react a certain way because I require something, then I think it all leads back to the thoughts and the emotions. Thoughts and emotions are the first addiction. You get addicted to yourself, not necessarily your body, but you get addicted to your thoughts that tell you what you should be addicted to. I think that is the biggest curse of it all.
It's the same way, like, think before you speak.
True.
True. That same mentality where it's like, take a second before you speak. And
pause.
Literally pause. Like, take a second before you have that thought, or that thought comes into your head and you're like, I'm going to do that. Take a second. Let it, see if it will pass. If you still feel like that, then cool, do it. But try and find that self-control to just stop yourself from being so impulsive and just doing whatever comes to your mind. Because impulsiveness is good. Spontaneity is good, but within reason. With it only when it benefits you. Spontaneity in terms of going on holiday and doing a hike, great, fucking love it. Spontaneity in terms of going to an Airbnb to go and sniff cocaine, not the same kind of thing,
But that took a left turn.
But it's true though. Like,
it is.
There's levels to it. Like, I know there's a few people I know that have been addicted to substances, especially like the harder substances.
Oh yeah.
and it ruined them, bro.
Yeah.
Ruined them. I'm talking rehab. You know, relapsed as well afterwards.
Yeah.
And it's like, you chase that because that feeling is so good. You chase that feeling because it feels good to you. It feels homely in a sense. It's warm, right?
Yeah.
It's the same way, like if you're an addict of like heroin, right? Yeah. You're like, oh, one time, it's going to be one time I'll try it. You know, you try it and then you have that feeling of chasing the dragon. They say chasing the dragon, right? Because you enjoy that high so much that every time you do it, you're trying to recreate that first time, but you never get it because it just goes downhill from there and it gets worse. And then all of a sudden you're fucked. Yeah. It's
that in itself, just one time with heroin is too many times.
Exactly.
It's not a one-time deal.
Exactly.
You sign the dotted line in blood.
I'm the type of person where it's like, do your thing, bro. Like, you know, but just be smart. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, that's not me encouraging people to go and do heroin. Don't do heroin, all right? I'd rather you didn't.
Yeah, I'd rather you didn't.
But be sensible with your decisions.
Yeah.
Think before you act. Yeah. Simple.
That is a good way to be. You got to be, you know, you got to overcome your thoughts and just see where it's going to lead. You know, understanding someone's going to react in a certain way. Is that worth the time?
Yeah.
Is it worth doing that? Understand how you're going to react in a certain way. Is it worth doing that? Yeah. You know what, though? It is definitely the hardest challenge of them all. It is not too hard to beat a substance abuse because you can have people around you. But your thoughts, that is one thing from which only you can master. Yeah. You know? That is kind of scary. Yeah.
I mean, you know, you have control over your mind, but I get sometimes it's harder to maintain and control. You know, I'm a victim of that. I deal with that quite a lot of the time, to be fair. But it's something that I'm actively working on. And bro, I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, I feel like I'm definitely in the best place I've been in such a fucking long time. Yeah. Mentally, you know, physically not so much, but I'm working on that, and emotionally as well. You know.
Yeah, like, I can see that.
I'm learning to be more of like just myself again. I'm feeling more of myself, but a better version of that. Yeah. You know, like I'm not as self-critical of myself, and that's another thing. That's definitely an addiction as well, because it's like.
Being self-critical.
Yeah, bro, 100%. Yeah. Because it's like I used to find myself like enjoying the fact that I'm like beating myself up.
Yeah.
You know.
That's currently where I am. I'm enjoying shitting on myself.
Pause.
Is it?
Nah. But no, I get it. Like, it's one of them things where it's like, genuinely, I used to love just sitting there, just beating myself up. Pause. I just had to do it. But I just had to like, I would literally just like attack myself. Yeah. And for no reason, I'd done nothing wrong. I would just sit there and just like be in my head the whole time and just, why did you do this at this moment? You know, like when you're asleep and like thoughts pop into your head of like, oh, you could have done this instead.
Bro, 7 years ago, why did I do that? I was in reception. Why did
I
in front of everybody? Yeah. I should have put the straw in this way. Why did I do it?
Yeah. It's like, it's the same thing. Like I sit there and I'll be like, I'm too self-critical. It's like, you need to be more like this. But then, I got so used to the feeling of, because at the beginning it felt great because it's like, okay, cool. I'm not being too harsh. Yeah. I'm, constructive. I'm being more constructive. But then it got worse and worse and worse because so many other things have happened now that it just gradually got worse. And I'm like, why the fuck did you do that? Yeah. And I just get more aggressive with myself. And it's like, yo, like, you're a piece of shit. Yeah. Why did you handle this situation like this? Why aren't you better than you're meant to be? Why aren't you in this position? Yeah. Why aren't you mentally stable type shit? Yeah. And it's like, but it felt good, and that's why I kept doing it, because I'm trying to chase that first time of like, okay, I can learn from that. Yeah. But now I'm just essentially
dogging on yourself.
Yeah. Literally just dookie on myself.
That's how it starts. The reason why it feels good to start, and then again, you're right, you're just chasing that feeling. It's because being self-aware of yourself is really beneficial for everyone around you.
Of course.
Not just for yourself.
Of course.
For everyone around you. And having that helps you develop massively. But then there is the scale that tips, and you're going too far, and you're drilling yourself to the point where you're actually reducing your potential.
Your self-esteem.
Yeah. You're going to be fearful of doing the same mistake, because in your mind, it's 1,000 times worse than it actually was.
Yeah.
I remember things as they were, and then I remember them when I'm being self-critical, and they're always 10 times worse than I'm
100%. I mean, like, I was the same thing. It's like, when I was at my previous job, I was like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, I felt stuck, right?
Yeah.
And after my previous relationship, I felt super stuck. I felt, no, I mean, not even just after, it was kind of during, but that was to do with myself. That wasn't to do with the relationship. That was to do with myself. But that, again, that's another form of addiction. I got used to being in that kind of lost position because it just felt tranquil at the time.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'll figure it out. But then it just progressively got worse and worse. And I'm like, well, now I'm like, fuck, what do I do? And then I get left behind because obviously I got broken up with whatever.
Yeah.
Cool. And then it just spiraled. Yeah. And then I gradually found myself a bit more. I said to you, let's do the podcast. No, we started it. And it's like, I found that purpose again. And now I'm kind of getting back to that, you know. But I would always allow myself to, you know, like my inner self to rule the fear over me as well. Yeah. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. Your inner self is putting fear in your mind, which dictates your behavior.
Exactly. Yeah. And it also came to work. Like when I was at my last job, I was like, I want to do something different, but I don't know what.
Yeah.
Because all I have is experience in retail and customer service. So if I go to do another job, I'm going to be relearning everything, right? And it's scary. I don't want to take that risk and it fall through because I need the money to survive, right?
Yeah.
And then obviously job opportunity came up for the video editing. So I was like, cool, I got to a point, I was like, what the fuck am I waiting around for? Let me just take it. Let me just send it. Yeah. And whatever happens, happens. Yeah. And I'm good at it. Yeah, I've been editing for a long time, right? Like I do all the stuff for the videos and stuff, but doing it for somebody else is different. Mm-hmm. You know, somebody's putting their trust in you to edit their videos. So I broke that kind of cycle of like bringing myself down, being like, you're not good enough to do that. I broke that kind of addiction of like, you know, that feeling of like, I don't want to feel like I'm good enough.
Yeah.
You know, because if for some reason it felt good in a way, it was a weird feeling. It's sort of like, I don't feel like I'm good enough, but it's kind of like, yeah, that's a good feeling. I want to keep feeling that because it's safe.
Yeah.
You know, it's a safety net.
It is, yeah, it is.
So I broke out and here I am. Yeah. And bro, best decision I made.
Yeah, I know. And
Hands
I
down.
applaud you for it. It is truly inspirational. There's a lot of people out there who are addicted to their comfortability and they just need to jump off the bridge.
Yeah.
Forget that you have a parachute on your back. Forget that you've got a bungee attached to your leg.
Take the risk.
That it's scary.
Take the risk.
Just go for it. Just do it.
Just send it.
I'm so grateful that we started this.
Yeah.
And I could say possibly that I'm addicted to doing this now. But it comes to the point where we've been doing this a while now. We've been pretty consistent.
Yeah.
We haven't hit 20 episodes yet, but I know we're getting 20
there.
episodes.
Yeah, we're getting there. We're near enough halfway.
Yeah. And it just feels like it's so right.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I mean, you go back to our first episode and see how like nervous and awkward we were on the camera to now. It's kind of like,
weirdos, bro.
Yeah, I've settled in, bro. This is my place now. I am the captain now.
Yeah, for sure.
You know?
Yeah. Okay, all right. What do you want me to do?
Nothing.
Well, I'm co-captain. No, but it's true. It's true though. There is a difference between where we were and where we are now, and I feel like the vibes that we get from this is not only just us feeling vibes. This is therapy for us.
Yeah,
bro.
Of course.
You know, this is release of all the things that we are holding on to, and it gives the example that talking about it, whether or not it's talking to your mate, talking to a camera, talking to the world about it, is a good thing. But one thing which I will not try and lead us down is us being victims of what we are.
Yeah.
We're not designed by by the side effects of all of these negative things that have occurred in our life.
No.
We design ourselves.
Of course. We've grown. We've evolved from it. We've learnt from it. That's the biggest takeaway from it, I think. We've learnt majorly from our experiences. And I don't really care if people want to talk shit on it or like complain and say, oh, you're just another podcast. And like, I couldn't really care less, to be fair. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you want to go ahead and mock my haircut, go ahead, bruv. I'm used to it, mate.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I've been through some shit. I don't care. Like I said, I don't need your fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
If anything, thanks for the view, son.
Word.
Do you know what I mean?
Do you know what's funny about that? The people who criticize others do nothing with their lives. But you'll find that a fitness athlete that sees someone trying to become fit will encourage them to be fit.
Of course.
But someone who doesn't do any fitness stuff is going to be like, are you doing that?
Yeah.
What's that? Someone who wants to learn how to drive, they go to a driving instructor and he encourages them to drive. someone who's experienced in the field will always encourage you to
Of
do
course.
that, because they know that
you want to better yourself.
Exactly.
And that's why they're there.
Yeah.
And that's why we want people to start trying to better themselves, because there's so much potential that you guys have, that we have, and that everybody around us has, and everybody in the world has potential.
Exactly.
You know, like, don't waste it is essentially what it is. Don't let yourself become sucked into these trends and these fucking, you know, kind of whatever you want to call it, the societal norms, and you know, like or as people call the matrix. Like, don't allow yourself to become a product of that, because then you're just another fucking cog in the machine. Yeah, exactly. Essentially.
Yeah. The way that I would address it, on top of that, is there is the standard society that you live in. It is a box that we create. Step outside of that box and you realize that there's a bigger box. And then you step outside of that box, there's another bigger box.
Yeah.
The matrix works in compounds. And when you understand one philosophy within the original box, the new philosophy begins. Yeah. So, yeah, don't be a product of the matrix. But it doesn't mean that you have to exile yourself from it. You know? Like Neo in the Matrix, he was doing all that stuff by plugging back into the Matrix. Yeah. Does that make sense? Yeah. Does that make sense? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He had to go back in to get out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, you know, fight your battles where you can. And to be honest, society, I think the biggest problem with society now is attention.
Mm-hmm.
The addiction to attention.
100%. Everybody wants to be seen.
Everybody wants to be seen.
Everybody craves attention. And I get that. I get that. You know, it's one of the things, we're making ourselves vulnerable by doing this.
But we don't crave this attention.
I don't care about attention, bro. It's like, if you want to watch the videos, watch the damn videos. If you don't want to watch the videos, don't watch the damn videos. It's as easy as that. Yeah. But the people that take time out their day to comment some bullshit, it's like, brother, you're still watching the video. Yeah. So you're still generating us views. So thank you. Yeah. But we don't crave the attention. I couldn't care less. Yeah. Whether this takes off or we have a small fan base, cool. Yeah. It's one of them things where it's like, at least I can say at the end of the day, somebody has taken something away from it. Yeah. You know, whether it's on the video, whether somebody's watched the video or somebody's, you know, kind of, or somebody who knows us as people, as individuals, then cool. Mm-hmm. I don't really care. Yeah. This is a side thing for me. Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I just enjoy doing this. Yeah. I just enjoy chatting shit and spending time with my boy.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know what I'm saying?
That way, and I don't think it will change.
Nah.
I think another example of what this is, guys, is when you are addicted to attention. Let's say you want to do music. Let's say you want to be the next footballer, you are going to follow what gets the reaction. Mm-hmm. So you're not creating or being authentic any further. You're reducing your authenticity to be a part of someone else's legacy.
Yeah.
So why are you wearing the gold chains and putting a belly on and, you know, having a whole gang on the street for a music video? It's because that's what generates attention. Mm-hmm. Simply told, those victims to themselves that claim that they are a victim to society put their stuff on social media because they see that gets attention. Mm-hmm. And to be honest, you're reducing yourself in that manner. I've never been one to want attention. When I was a kid, I just strayed away from everybody. I just wanted to be left alone. I didn't want the attention.
I was the opposite.
You know, you learn from what you...
100%.
You know?
100%.
I think society now, everybody's doing something to fit in, to get that validation or get that attention.
But that's it. That's the key word there, validation. People try to search for attention and gain attention for that validation from others that don't even know them. Yeah. That's the scariest thing. Mm-hmm. You want you're chasing validation for random ass people that don't even care about you or even know who you are, but yet you're forgetting the most important thing, which is your friends and your family. Yeah. So you're so focused on that one goal, which is like, I need attention from everybody, that you lose sight of what's actually in front of you. Yeah. Instead, you're just behind a screen, people watching you. Yeah. I am how I am on and off camera. Yeah. I don't care. Yeah. Because so what? Yeah. Like, why am I going to change myself?
That's one thing which I'm trying so hard to be like. Not necessarily to be like you.
Yeah.
But that characteristic that you hold where you don't care, it's not easy for everyone.
It's not, and I understand that, because I used to be like, I used to put on a facade of like, oh, I can't be like this because, you know, whatever. Like, I can't, you know, keep doing that. I can't keep being like that because it's like other people don't understand me type thing, you know? Yeah. So it's like,
yeah, now it's just a bit easier for me to kind of be like that.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah. You know, it comes with age as well.
100%.
It does. And I just hope that comes next year when I'm older. Because honestly, man.
It comes at the time you need it, bro. Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I stopped caring. I stopped caring because it's like, yo, I've got people around me that care. Do you know what I'm saying? I've got people around me that actually, like, understand me, can understand my humor, how I am. Like, I told you, I'm a fucked up individual. Like, we all are, right?
Hell yeah, I wouldn't have it any other way.
But it's like, I don't care. Like, you know, the same way Ricky Gervais doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah. And everybody loves his authenticity.
But not everyone, but majority. Yeah. Me, I'm very similar. I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a weird guy, bro. Like, you know, I say whatever comes to my head, I just say it. Like, I don't, you know.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. I think when you are a certain way and someone meets you or they come across your differentness, they usually react with how you wouldn't expect them to. Like, for example, in my younger days, meeting a roadman, you know, he's a drug dealer, we're chilling, we're bunning in a yard, and then he puts on some anime, and I'm like, bro, you watched that?
You're about it like that?
Yeah. He was like, yeah, bro. Man's on episode 670, bro. You know, like, that kind of reaction.
But then that's the thing, though, you're just assuming.
Well, that's it.
That's the assumption.
Yeah, that goes back to the whole, you know, me expecting things.
Yeah.
You know, having an expectation
exactly.
of things, you know?
Exactly. There's bare roadman that watch anime.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
But they just don't go on road being like, ooh, woo. Like, they don't, do you know what I mean? Like, but I feel like we've strayed a bit off topic here.
Yeah.
Now, another form of addiction, porn. What's your favourite? No, I'm joking.
You know me. No. You know what? I'll be very honest. I had a big problem with this. Very big problem with this.
You've got our cameraman in the back there saying the same.
Yeah. I mean, it is so easily accessible.
Do you know what's crazy? Right? So I was actually playing Apex Legends the other day with one of my boys, and it was actually with Dylan, right? I was playing Apex Legends, and we went into we just got off third random in a ranks game, and I ended up playing a couple of games with him afterwards. I'm getting to it. Let me land.
Okay.
I'm getting to it. And I was chatting to him, and he's like a really funny guy. Like, he's very similar to us, right? He just has no filter, and it's brilliant. I love it. It's hilarious. And I ended up playing with Matt and this guy, right?
Okay.
And he was just like, he just randomly come out of it. He's like, bro, I used to be addicted to porn. He was like, I had a real fucking problem. He was like, bro, like when I was in school, I had to take the day off. He was like, I took a day off just so I could whack my dick 20 times. Now,
oh my god, that's next level. Addiction.
Now, like,
level
I'm not gonna name any names, yeah, but I know somebody personally who has also been down that route, right? Now, it's scary to think that you can beat your shit 20 times in one day, right? Because that's wild numbers. That's wild numbers. It's like, at what point does nothing come out, right?
Probably by like the fourth or fifth.
Right? But also, that's a crazy addiction. But he's now like clean. He promotes like banning porn, right? Or like putting caps on it, at least like limitations. Cool.
One video a day.
Yeah, exactly. Like beat a day, you know? But that's a real thing, because that shit, like, bro, like some people can't function in society because of that.
Yeah, it rewires your brain.
Of course.
You know?
And also, there's been so many studies that have shown that if you're an avid watcher of that, like, of that kind of porn stuff, and like you're watching the kind of more aggressive side, right?
Yeah.
When you actually go to be with a partner, like, especially if you're a man, right? Because it tends to be with men, but also it does resonate with women as well.
It does, yeah.
When you go and do things with your partner, you're not satisfied because what you're watching is completely different to what you're doing.
Experience.
So if you go and do something quite vanilla, I guess, so to speak, you're not fulfilled and you can't get yourself to where you want to get to, right? Because you don't have that kind of same feeling where it's like you're doing some crazy shit.
Yeah.
And it's actually a known fact that a lot of people have experienced that, where they just can't get to where they want to get to.
Really? Because they're just not visually experiencing what they see. That in itself is that's kind of crazy, bro. You're telling me they're slanging rope. They're slanging rope across the board. They're trying to tie the knot. and the knot's blocking the pass through. Is that what you're saying?
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's messed up.
Essentially.
I mean, yeah, honestly, I'll be honest. My first experience of sex when I was a virgin, I thought was meant to be that way.
Yeah.
You know, and I just went straight hound dog, you know, just going ham on this situation. But it's not reality.
No. It's fucking staged, bro.
Yeah,
like you are, bro. Like I find it so mad. Like obviously, I don't want to sit here and talk about porn with my boy too much because it gets a bit weird if you're kind of just Yeah. But
it is a heavy.
It's a heavy addiction, bro.
So guys, stop beating your dick 20 times a day. Yeah, seriously. Yeah, it's bad. It is bad. When I have children, I am not going to give them a smartphone. Not till they're like 16 or something.
No. You're getting a shitty little trap phone.
Yeah, literally.
That you can only make calls on.
Yeah, maximum, you'll have to text me, but you have to hit like one button 3 or 4 times just to get one letter up.
Yeah. And if you miss it, you got to do it again.
Yeah.
Nah, but on a real, like, when our kids, it will be a thing of like, if they do have access to the internet, because I mean, let's be honest, it's just going to get easier and easier. Yeah, there will be severe limits in place. Yeah. You know what? Not just in terms of like porn, but just in terms of everything, man.
Yeah,
exposing at a young age is difficult to keep under control.
Yeah, it's not good, man. It's not good. Once you let them off the reins once, they're not going to be easy to return back to the reins, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's something that you got control immediately, straight away. Yeah. I think there was a video that I saw of like these young girls talking about how they don't need a smartphone and they much prefer to have brick phones because they experience their friends more. Whereas a mum was talking about inviting her daughter's friends over and they would come and play. All they would do is sit on their phones.
And just share reels and share videos and all that nonsense. Bro, it's facts. Yeah, I think I saw the same thing. And that's real, bro.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Like that you still have people like that to this day, like especially in the younger generation that are happy to have brick phones and be like, yo, let's live in the moment.
Yeah. I think a lot of like obsessions, which is another addiction, you know, like people are obsessed with, back in the day, a girl would be obsessed with a guy or a guy would be obsessed with a girl. I think it's changed now where people are obsessed with an idea of a guy or their phone that tells them an idea of something, you know? So it's a bit odd nowadays, man. It doesn't seem real anymore. Nothing seems real. There's no real tangible, like, evidence is, not evidence. Addiction is, it's like a spectrum now, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. It's, bro, it's hard. It's difficult to explain, to be fair, like, and put it into words because it is tough kind of just gaining control over it, you know? Like, it's an addiction for a reason because you don't have control over it. But also, you know, you don't realize how bad it is, like we've said already, until you try and stop. So, yeah, it's just hard to kind of gauge how addicted you are to said thing, right? Or, you know, said product, said item, whatever it is, yeah? And said streaming website. But, you know, yeah, man, I think everybody's different. There are some people with stronger willpower to be able to just cut it off at the head as easy as that, you know, and just stop that addiction kind of as quick as possible and not let it kind of get any further. And there are some people that obviously have that self-destructive mindset where it is like, I don't care. I'm going to continue with this, you know, addiction because it feels good to me. And then they don't allow themselves to break away from it. Yeah? So yeah, it's hard to kind of balance, I think.
I think Terry Crews was heavily addicted to porn.
Yeah.
And what a figure to, like, imagine someone like that to say I was addicted also. You know, it makes you feel like there is hope because not only is he like a great figure for the black community, like he's a big fucking hench, successful guy. You know, he's not only
had his hardship, bro.
He has, yeah.
Had his hardships and his addiction stemmed because of his trauma. Yeah. That's how it was. You know, he got abused sexually by, you know, people at a younger age, kind of moving into the industry and stuff like that. And he felt helpless because he couldn't do anything about it. So that was his, you know, kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? His outlet. That's it. I'm going to say, that was like his outlet to be addicted to something to take his mind away.
Yeah. True. Yeah. Addiction can come in that form as well, where it's like there is an overlaying problem and you use addiction to sort of mask it.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
That I think is the worst kind of addiction because you're running away from something and you're getting comfortable
in something else.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just as bad or just as detrimental to an individual, you know? Man, that's scary. I've got a lot to work on personally with my thoughts. I don't think. Ain't answering that. Like he's calling me mid-podcast. Sorry, bro. Sorry. Bro, what's going on today? Honestly. What was I saying?
You have to work like yourself.
Yeah. Like I think I've got a lot to work on when it comes to my thinking side because I am self-destructive, and I think the addiction of me being alone, I love it. I love being alone. I think that is the main thing today that I need to work on.
Yeah.
And I think it's been overlying, but for years and years.
Yeah.
Because I have loads of issues which I need to iron out. Trust being the major issue in my life. And I think I'm using that as my
like your
mask. Yeah. That's my mask for it. And that's not healthy, man. It's bad. It's very self-destructive when you do it that way. When you create a mask, you're creating a facade for yourself, which also comes with its own expectations. And yeah, I think, like I was saying beforehand about, porn being one of the biggest things for a lot of men. I think that's a mask for not receiving attention from women, not receiving validation from women.
100%.
So they can objectify them visually through porn so that they feel satisfied, like they are still loved, or they do have compassion from a woman, or they do feel in connection with a woman. Because a lot of people, they have their favorites, don't they? They have their one that they always watch, and usually that's because they're into some weird shit, and that's the way that it goes.
Well, yeah, because what is it? I watched something, and this was a little while ago, and it was of this woman. I think it was like, "Am I the asshole?" Right?
Oh, okay, yeah, I love
it. Brilliant. And it was a Latina woman, and she was with this. I think she was with this dude who was white, I think, or something like that. And she was like, we're in a very kind of, honest relationship. Like, I know he watches porn, blah, blah, blah. And then she was like, one day, like, show me what kind of stuff you watch and this and that. Now, that's already a red flag because it's like, hey, yo, like, you're doing too much. Like, I appreciate that you want to know, but it's like, that's my time. You know what I'm saying? Like, word. So he was like, cool. Showed her. She didn't like it because the person he was watching was Latina and it looked quite like her, and she found that quite disrespectful. And what he was like, it just reminds me of you type thing, right? Like, because there's not a resemblance as such, but like, and then she just kind of got into her own head and was just like, oh, am I not good enough? And it kind of triggered like an argument, and then it got to a point where she now ends up controlling what he watches, and she has to screen what he's watching before he watches it. Imagine your girl coming to you and be like, you best not be watching Latina. I told you no.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
Bro, at that point, just give me them cheeks. Why am I having you view what I'm viewing so I can tug my own straw? Are you mad? Let's get real. Let's just get real. Give me them cheeks. Hey, what are we playing this game for? No. I mean, I
found that mad, bro.
That is the steps that went through to get to that result. That isn't it? Result.
She said there's no. You can watch this one. Yeah, this one's good. You can watch that. Nah, not having it.
She get paid to review these episodes. That's
crazy. When I saw that, I was like, wow, bro. That's wild. Like, I get where she's coming from in terms of like, I feel a bit, but speak to him about it.
Yeah. Ignorance is bliss in this case. You know what I mean?
Speak to him about it. Like, have that understanding. There's no need to, put him on blast and kind of get intrusive now with that when it's like, because you're just going to make him feel kind of insecure.
Yeah.
And you might feel insecure, of course, that's understandable, but you're kind of self-inflicting it by going through what he's going through what he's watching.
Yeah.
So it could be quite, I think it's a double-edged sword, to be fair. You should have asked that question.
True.
He probably should have just lied about what he was watching.
True.
And then that would have been the conversation done.
Yeah, I think it definitely should have went that way. Or at least just said something vague like, the usual stuff.
Yeah.
Why are you going into detail? She was probably...
I don't think any girl, unless you've got that free cop kind of relationship, I don't think any girl needs to be knowing what type of pornography you're watching. Even if you're a girl that watches porn as well and you're in a relationship with a guy and he wants to know, I don't think you need to.
Yeah, I don't think that needs to be disclosed.
I think that's a very personal and intrusive thing.
Personally, I think, if you're going to go down that road, you should express your passions together in an intimate way and say, that doesn't fit my bill, that fits my bill.
Yeah, or like if it's a specific scene or like something you want to try.
That's just weird, bro. That's just weird to me. I mean, yeah, definitely don't do that with your partner. Do not show them what you're getting up to in your alone time, in your Hunchback of Notre Dame time, where you're sweating buckets, and then she's gonna tell you what you can sweat buckets to.
Yeah, that's wild.
That's crazy. That is an alternative.
I saw that. I was like, yeah, that's washed. That's wild.
Yeah, bro. The relationships nowadays are getting weirder and weirder, and the thing is people are getting addicted to these dominatrix kind of relationship. They want a woman to dominate them, and they're addicted to it.
Yeah,
they pay for that service.
Yeah.
We're sick. Pray for your fellow man if they're going down that road.
And they're buying somebody's bathwater or socks or underwear.
Or fart in a jar, brother. That one tipped me off the edge.
Yeah, you got problems.
Yeah. But yeah, say. I mean, I think it's a good time now to end the episode because we're going off on a tangent, yeah.
As always,
yeah.
Wouldn't be a Skitzman episode without a tangent.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, love for you guys to hang out. Drop us a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and yeah, tell us what you think your biggest addiction is, as well as what the smallest one that you didn't notice. First off, for me, it was my thoughts. I was addicted to my thoughts. So let us know what yours are. But
yeah, we want to get a take on kind of like where you guys are at, because obviously it's quite a big subject, it's quite a broad subject. We will be going into more detail about this at a later date with a guest. We will have a guest coming on to talk about addictions and, kind of his experiences within that and how that played part to his mental health. But yeah, let us know what, you guys think and what your addictions are and, what helped you break that, what helped you break that addiction.
Yeah.
Other than that, like, subscribe, comment, all of that. And we will see you next time.